Hi Libra, it's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to discuss the horoscopes for April 2026. And yes, and so Libra, this is going to be for sun, moon, and rising, but not necessarily in that order. We have the rising, the sun, and the moon. That's more of the order, but I would definitely watch all of them, right? So we have the full moon in Libra at the beginning of the month. That is your full moon. I already have a video on that. So check that out. It is, already up and posted. So that starts the beginning of the month for you. So there could be something, with the full moon, maybe something's ending for you or something's culminating for you. The full moon can be sometimes a little bit emotional, right? Can bring endings and new beginnings and can illuminate things for us too, right? Because we always have the moon and the sun opposing each other with a full moon. And the moon is like saying, hey, look over here. I need you to, incorporate this intuition or my feelings or something emotional. And then the sun is opposing as well. There's kind of a merging that is being invited, like, okay, we need to work together, basically, the sun and the moon. So the sun is more related to your sense of self. And then the divine masculine, more of what you're doing, maybe your career and things like that. And then the moon would be the divine feminine. So check that out. Yeah, and so yes, I said that things could be culminating for you, maybe things that are very personal. We have natal Venus, um, Libra, and that is at the top of the chart as I was doing the horoscope. So that means that it was in the 10th house, and the 10th house is career. It's also social roles or social status, right? So these are the things that are so important in our life, either our work and our career or our social status, because not everybody works, right? Retired or whatever the maybe, wealthy or whatever it is, right? Or taking care of somebody. But those are social roles, really. Yes, they are. And so natal Venus will be in Taurus in the 10th house. So maybe there's something going on there for you. It's not necessarily your 10th house, but the top of the chart's very important. It's about our social roles and things like that. So, but Venus will support that, yes. Um, yeah, and in Taurus, and why that's why I'm saying that, because Venus also represents you, Libra, and also Taurus. So that's, natal Venus in Taurus is important for you. It sure is. And so April will be highlighting your sixth and your seventh houses, Libra. The sixth house is where some of the planets are still in Pisces. And so yes, and the sixth house is really the house that makes your life work. It is your work. It is your health. It is your daily practical affairs, and kids getting dropped off, or I need to do this, and on a daily basis. These are the organization or the fundamentals, the practical daily routines that we always do. So that's a very important house, the sixth house, very practical and functional. And then we have the seventh house, and this is the house of partnerships, but it's also the house of harmony and balance and how we establish harmony and balance in our life. And that is in Aries, for you, your seventh house. But it's also about, opponents and trying to create harmony and balance, sometimes with somebody who doesn't see eye to eye with us. It can be that. It can be court matters, the seventh house, but it is how we relate to others for sure, even if it's not about a particular relationship itself, how we relate to others, right? So, that could be the focus, right, during April. Okay. Now, Mercury, and so, yeah, Mercury and Mars, both the planet of, and so Mercury and Mars is the planet of action and courage, and it does rule Aries. And so it starts out at the beginning of the month in Pisces in your sixth house, and Mercury as well. Mercury will enter Aries on the 14th, and Mars enters Aries on the 9th. So they're both going to end up, to be in your seventh house of harmony and balance and partnerships and things like that. But there's something going on here that may have to do with these sixth and seventh houses, right? Yeah. And so now there could be something new that you want, Libra. There definitely could be. And especially you have that Libra full moon. So something definitely could be, maybe you want something to end. And, but ending doesn't always mean, complete ending. Oh, that's completely over. Sometimes we want to adjust it or tweak it, right? Yeah. And so, and so the sixth house is a house of considered very kind of where you can adjust, right? The sixth house of the natural house of Virgo, which is about, it's immutable, and about making changes or adjustments. It can be, right? Your sixth house is going to be in Pisces, which is a mutable sign. So, but there may be something new that you want, and you may be feeling restless and curious with Mercury, right, in the sixth. Definitely, before it moves into your seventh. But that is a curious thing. Mercury always has us thinking about evaluating, our lives, basically, right? Or plans and goals and things like that. Natal Venus will be trining the south node in your house of surrender and release. So Libra, there's something that is being like supported to either to drop it and let it go or to embrace it, like surrender to something and then embrace it. So there's something like that going on for you, but this will be giving you more resilience to move on from past themes that no longer serve you. And Venus is supporting your higher potential. It definitely is from your house of transformation and regeneration. Interesting there. To your house of work and health and daily affairs. Yeah, there's support for these themes and these dynamics, right? Mars, the planet of action and courage, will move into Aries on the ninth, and that is into your seventh house of relationships. So be careful not to argue whenever Mars is in the seventh, right? It's already a house of harmony and balance where we're trying to establish that. So be careful or people who maybe want to argue with you. Yeah, just try to keep those people at bay, right? But that will give you courage. And Mars, yeah, Mars, the planet of action and courage, moves into Aries on the ninth. Yeah, as I said, this is in your house of relationships. But after the ninth, establishing balance or harmony will be important for you, most likely. Um, or a particular relationship could be that may be we have the new moon and that's happening on the 16th, the new moon in Aries. As I said, these is your seventh house of relationships or relating, right? It's also about sometimes legal matters, right? When that's what the court attempts to do. This is where that comes in, right? The seventh house of the scales and seventh house of relationships, but also court, legal matters and things like that. um yeah, and I'll do a separate video on the new moon in Aries that could be for you. Maybe establishing balance, as I said, or a relationship might be more important as we move toward the end of the month. It could be on the 23rd, Venus will conjoin with Uranus, and in Taurus, they're going to be both at a perfect conjunction. The conjunction is the alignment. It is the most important, really, I would say. The most favorable, maybe is a good way to look at it, is in the astrology chart, right? We always start with the conjunction where they happen, but it's a supportive, right? They are aligning, these planets are kind of really supporting one another, right? Sometimes supporting also the sign that they are in, of course. But on the 23rd, Venus will make that perfect conjunction with Uranus. So, and in Taurus, for you, Libra, that is let me see what house that is for you here. That's your eighth house of transformation. And to, Uranus wants us to embrace change so we can have something better, so we can feel more independent, or we can feel that there's progress, right? Uranus is connected with progress, but it's also creates stability so we can have progress, right? Uranus doesn't like stagnation at all. So Venus likes to keep things kind of in the status quo, but that is your Venus that will be conjoined with Uranus in Taurus in your house of endings, right? Your house of transformation. This is your house of psychic ability and the occult, things that are hidden. Maybe you're able to see things that are now hidden and you realize something has to change here. It could be. So anyway, but Uranus can bring you breakthroughs, spiritual insights where, oh wow, like aha moments. So that's a really good thing. But there will be something that is kind of pressing you to like release or complete or finish on the 23rd, on or around the 23rd. Yeah, when that conjunction. Venus will be there for a little while as well. Like I would say at least a week, Venus will be conjoined with Uranus. All right. And so now we have then 2 days later, Venus and Uranus both enter Gemini. They're still going to be conjoined, but now they're in a new sign. So that will be in your ninth house of higher purpose. And that will be at 0 degrees, really saying there is a new potential related to growth and expansion, the ninth house, or whatever is very meaningful for you. Could be. Yeah. And so that ninth house is long distance travel, but it's learning and teaching and our philosophy, but it is really most importantly related to our purpose or what's meaningful to us and what's helping us grow. All right. So once Venus moves in there, and Uranus enters Gemini, there's a new potential here for like for things like maybe to get better for you, things that are more meaningful or of a higher purpose, right? Could be. All right. And so now, um, yeah. And so thank you so much for joining me here. If you've enjoyed that, we kind of came to a quick ending. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate you. And hit the little bell to be notified of my next upload. If you like a reading with me, I have all kinds of great readings. I'm a psychic. I do tarot, past life readings, lots of great astrology readings too. These are all to help us understand ourselves at a very deep level and the transits that are coming our way as well, so we can co-create with the universe. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, hit the little bell, and I'll see you in the next video.